Aroma Thyme Bistro presents Wine Thyme Live, hosted by the Hudson Valley's premier green certified entrepreneurs, Marcus and Jamie Guiliano. So grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and travel with them, sharing their passion discovering unique vineyards, outstanding wines, delicious food, and great adventure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wine Thyme Live, episode number 15. Pinot Noir from where?
Yeah, where is it from?
Where's our Pinot Noir from we're tasting tonight?
Fun Pinot Noir tonight. An interesting one.
Yep, interesting one. From New York State. That's where the Pinot Noir is from New York State. A lot of people aren't familiar with New York State wine unless you
I'm going to open while you talk.
Specifically live here in New York State or specifically the Finger Lakes. A lot of people in California or wherever else really don't have the resources to have the Finger Lakes wines in restaurants.
Almost right in your backyard.
Right in your backyard, exactly. We are very, very fortunate to have the Finger Lakes just literally
in our backyard.
2.5 hours, 3 hours from us here in the Hudson Valley. I think 4 hours or less from the Finger Lakes. We have, New York State's such a great wine region. So we have in New York State, we have the Hudson Valley, of course. The oldest wine trail, the oldest winery, the oldest vineyard. We have Long Island, which is making amazing, amazing wines. But then you have the Finger Lakes, Seneca Lake, Keuka Lake.
I think there was a time where wine from New York State wasn't great, but now it's amazing. The winemakers, the wineries have really stepped up their game. They've gotten really great winemakers. And you can always find wine that was good, but you had to really search for it. And now it's amazing how much wine there is and how good it is in New York.
Right. So we're drinking Zugby vineyards. Zugby is the name of the family that owns the vineyard. This vineyard they bought it in 2004 and started planting vines. They planted, I think they started with
they began with 23 acres.
23 acres and then went to
vinifera wine
and then
grapes.
went to 17 acres a few years later. They primarily they're dedicated to growing vinifera, like you said. So varietals like Riesling, Cabernet.
What is vinifera? Do you want to explain that real
sure.
quick before you explain what wines they also go? Cheers. I'm going to take a sip. I like to cheers first. Cheers. And now I can taste the wine.
Oh, all right. So, vinifera. When you hear the term vinifera, you're talking about, this wine is so good. You're talking about Riesling, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet, Merlot, things like that. The main grape varietals that you would know. So when a winery says, especially a local winery, New York winery says, we're planting vinifera. They're planting, that's what they mean. They got Cabernet, Merlot, something like that. The local grapes, indigenous grapes, Catawba, Niagara, what are some of the other ones? Cayuga. Those are the local grape varietals. Those are the ones that tend to be a little on the sweeter side. Those some of those are used for making grape juice. Concord used for making grape juice. So they make two different styles of wine, basically, or previously they made two different styles. Problem was years and years ago in New York State, especially up in the Finger Lakes, they grew grapes for Welch's.
They grew Concord grapes.
Concord grapes. They grew juicing grapes.
Exactly.
So sometimes they would make wine out of these juicing grapes. And the wine was, not that good of wine. It wasn't high quality wine. It was less expensive wine. And then all of a sudden in the 50s, Dr. Frank Constantine from Dr. Frank Vineyard said, no, we can grow better grapes here. I want to plant vinifera. I want vinifera meaning the grapes from Europe. Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc,
Gewürztraminer,
right?
Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, Merlot.
Those are what we call vinifera. So the Finger Lakes have gone through a couple different revolutions that have kickstarted. Of course, the 50s, 60s, 70s, there was a couple of vineyards out there making wine. Early 70s, Fulkerson came on board. By the later 70s, you had Scott from Fox Run that was taking this mission to make much better wine in the Finger Lakes. Now, Zugby was founded in 2004. They planted basically 40 acres in the first couple of years. They cleaned up the land. They planted vinifera. So they planted vinifera, back to the vinifera. So they basically grow varietals like Riesling, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, Merlot, Limburger, which is also known as Blau Frankisch, which is an Austrian grape, Sauvignon Blanc, and Gruner Veltliner. So those are the grapes that they grow. So you will find no Catawba, Niagara. You will find none of those grape varietals mixed into their portfolio. Other wineries sometimes are still making those other grape varietals, and they're making the vinifera. They're doing both, and sometimes they'll mix them. They'll do blends. Sometimes they'll also do the Cornell hybrids. So Cornell has come up with grapes that are hybrids, where they take the best qualities of grapes, production-wise, flavor-wise, and a lot of the vineyards are growing these Cornell hybrids, which makes some really interesting wines as well. So, like the Valvin Muscat.
Yeah, it's so good.
Valvin Muscat. So this vineyard, Zugby, is growing no native grapes and no clones. No hybrids
from Cornell.
It's all vinifera. It's all the stuff that you will basically understand, because you've seen it everywhere in the stores and restaurants and on wine labels. So that's what they're growing. Our story there, remember, so we have their Pinot Noir in stock. Remember when we first went there?
We did a few years ago. We didn't really. Did we like the wines that we?
It's not that we didn't like the wines. We just didn't know much about.
We just didn't know about it. Yes.
So we didn't know much about them.
We left there and we said,
wines are good.
They're good, but they're not.
So what happened was our distributor said, "Go check out this vineyard," and we're like, "Okay, we'll go check out this vineyard." We showed up. We did the tour. We did a tasting. Out of sight, out of mind, for literally 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
And then we're doing a trip to the Finger Lakes.
Yes. We did a trip to the Finger Lakes.
So I call a group trip. Group trip, where
yes.
we do travel. So I call the vineyard and I speak to the person who answers the phone. And I said, I'm interested in your wines. I'd like to taste them again. I would also like to possibly bring a group of people there if you can accommodate us. And we'd been to the property before, so we had seen they can easily accommodate us. Big enough room.
Right.
And I said, and I started giving.
I think you said the name of the restaurant.
I said the name of the restaurant, and the person on the other end of the phone goes, "Oh, I know.
Remember you.
I know you." He goes, "This is Brandon Zugby. I was the one who showed you around the first time when you were here. I was the one." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't." So he totally remembered us.
Yes, you did.
Totally remembered us. He goes, "I know exactly where your restaurant is. This and this and this. I'd love to have you guys come up." Sent us a bunch of samples right away and said, "Here you go, retaste my wines again. Here's how you buy my wines, and let's plan something." So we planned something and took a group of 14 people
14
there.
people. So there was 16 of us, obviously separated out, COVID regulations. We are in 2021. So, it was COVID regulations, and we did a tasting, and it was an awesome tasting. It was the end of our day, so it was one of the highlights of our day. People loved the winery, loved the vineyard, loved what they saw, and we got a beautiful sunset out of it too. When you looked out their glass windows and you looked outside, we got the sunset, and as the sun was setting there, so it was beautiful. The wine was beautiful, the experience was beautiful, and everything about it was absolutely wonderful. So thank you to Zugby.
The part that he didn't tell us at the tasting was, I don't think he told us. So they bought the vineyard in 2005. The father bought the vineyard. Mm-hmm. The first harvest, 2006, 2007, the father passed away. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
The father passed away, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, what do we do now? What do we do? I mean, our father passed away. This is like the family vision, the family dream. But without him, he's
What are we?
Who are we? What are we? How do we go forward?" The three brothers got together and pushed forward and made the winery happen.
That's beautiful.
So Brendan's one of the brothers. So the three brothers run the winery.
Okay.
It's a truly family-run winery, and the shield on here is part of their family. Or their logo is part of their family shield. They're Lebanese. So with their Lebanese family.
Yes. So the tasting that we had with the food pairing was Lebanese style food, right?
Yes. So talk about that. That was really cool.
It was very interesting. We were looking for a place that we could do dinner at. And Brendan said that he could totally accommodate us, and he would do food. And they had they had food, not a market, but a kitchen, and they'd be happy to do food for us. So we did a potato skin pairing. So each wine was paired with a specific potato skin topping and potato skin.
Yeah, stuffed potato skins.
Stuffed potato skin. So that was really cool.
And they weren't your standard, the russet Burbank oval ones.
They were little. They were little Yukons,
They were,
right?
well, yeah, bigger Yukon
potatoes
that were hollowed out.
Yeah, and they were really cool. I mean, there were a couple of cheese. There was a caprese.
Yep.
There was a stroganoff. There was a German potato salad. So they were really cool. And so he took all of these potato skin and paired them with his wine.
International flavors. Everything had an international twist to it.
Yep.
And so you walk in, you sit down, you look at the menu, and you have 9 wines, and you check off the 9. Each of the wines come with a different potato skin.
And his kitchen also had other food. So they had pizzas on
pita
pitas.
Pizzas, yeah.
Pita pizzas. They had French fries. They had a bunch of other, I think, cheese plates, things like that.
Yeah.
But we chose a couple of different things to come out for our group, and it was a wonderful end to our Saturday up in the Finger Lakes, and it was great. And we got to taste great wine. And I know Brendan, he talked about the vineyard a little bit, and he talked about the wines and what we had, and then he poured us some more special wines and brought that around for us. And we got the red carpet treatment, which is what we love to give to our guests. So
right, we got extra wines.
We sure did.
We got extra wines. That's one of our favorite things when we bring guests to vineyards and they come out and they start pouring extra wines.
Yeah.
One of the other wineries that we'll talk about in another upcoming episode, they really rolled out the red carpet for us. It's great to be able to go to small family-run vineyards like that wherever we go, whether it's in Italy or California, upstate New York, Spain. That's really the thing that we thrive on is making the connections, knowing the owners, and understanding.
Just being great hosts and giving that experience to you that we get to experience. Because when we go to these places by ourselves, that's how we're treated. And we want our guests that travel with us to be treated that way as well.
So you can check out any of the upcoming trips we have. We have plans to go to Italy at the end of 2021. We have another plan to go to the Finger Lakes, to do Keuka Lake in March of 2021. Go to VIPwineryvacations.com. Check that out. If you're going to Italy by yourself or you're going to the Finger Lakes by yourself and you need recommendations, you need a car rental, you need a villa in Italy, you need a vineyard in upstate New York, you need hotel recommendations,
contact us. We'd be happy to help you get a great experience and plan your trip.
Even if it's non-wine related, if you want vintage Fiat tour in Tuscany or a vintage Alfa Romeo tour in southern Italy in Apulia, we can set up hot air balloons, everything, dinner on the Cape in Apulia, watch the sunset over the Adriatic and Ionian Sea. We can set all that kind of stuff up for you. We love traveling, and we love helping you travel.
And we'd love for you to travel with us. So if that's something that interests you, check out VIPwineryvacations.com. and get in touch with us, and we'll answer any questions for you.
Sure. So Zugby Vineyards is located on Seneca Lake. Seneca Lake is the largest lake in the Finger Lakes. It is on the east side of Seneca Lake, on the top east side of Seneca Lake. How many lakes are there in the Finger Lakes?
There are 11 Finger Lakes, yes.
Seneca being the largest, the deepest by far, up to 650 feet deep in certain spots, average depth 450 feet. 80% of the water in all those Finger Lakes is in Seneca Lake. Creates a very unique climate. They call it the banana belt. The thermals come off the water, and all the vineyards want the first few rows planted next to the water where they can plant the red grapes like Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, things like that, because it's a different temperature. And when we drove to Keuka Lake, which is only 20 minutes away, there was no snow on Seneca.
There was no snow on Seneca and
lots of snow in Keuka.
Yes.
So different climates up there. They're microclimates. So Seneca Lake, you can basically go, if you're coming from the south, you'd start in Watkins Glen, and you can go up the east side or the west side. This is on the east side, Zugby, and it's one of the top vineyards.
Yes, it is.
So if you're staying in Watkins Glen, which is we recommend.
Or Geneva.
If you're in Geneva, it's one of the closest vineyards. If you're in Watkins Glen on the south, it's one of the farthest vineyards. We like to stay in Watkins Glen. Geneva is also a great place to stay as well. Great city. Watkins Glen is a great city as well to stay in. Great point. Good hotels down there. Good restaurants. Really great. So Zugby Vineyards, Really an awesome vineyard. Now, this is their Pinot Noir that we're drinking. Pinot Noir is a popular grape in the Finger Lakes. Pinot Noir is harder to grow wherever you grow it. It's just a thin-skinned, small clustered grape, small grape, and winemakers, wine growers, owners, wine growers will always tell you, grape growers will always tell you, it is the toughest one to actually grow, and most of them are willing to accept the challenge. Upstate New York is the cold climate doesn't make it easier. It does not make it easier. The Pinot Noirs from upstate New York are more mineral, less fruit driven than the California Pinot Noirs. I happen to absolutely love Pinot Noirs from upstate New York. There's some bad ones, and there's some really good ones. We were so impressed with this that we picked up a couple cases.
Yes, we did. So we have this available at our restaurant, Aroma Thyme, and so it's available right now. I don't know how long it will last.
Things could change. So this is a bit smoky. Do you get a little smoke on this?
I do.
I know we never really talk about the wines in depth. It's more about the story of getting to the winery and about the winery itself.
I get some licorice too. Some licorice in there.
A touch of smoke. I think the bottle retails for about $25 if you're at the vineyard. Just an amazing, pleasant drinking, very balanced wine. Touch of smoke, the licorice. Folks, we hope you have a love affair with New York wines. There's some really good quality New York wines out there, and the best way to find out is just go taste away. Go taste away. Go visit the Finger Lakes, whether you're with us or not. Go taste away and experiment and support local.
Absolutely.
Support independent too. Support independent, even if it's not local. Very, very important nowadays to support a real family, a real business, and a real community.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it. Again, all of our information is at VIPWineryVacations.com. Check it out, all of our upcoming trips, and all kinds of resources for you to travel to Italy and into the Finger Lakes. Check out our trips, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks. Have a good night.